You're listening to The Monks.
You're here with the Monks. I'm Heather.
And I'm Josh.
Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Josh, we have an update to a previous comment on an episode.
Where was the comment?
The comment, you said that Tammy is your favorite character on 1,000-Pound Sisters.
I said she was my dark horse favorite character.
Okay.
I know what Tammy is. I know she's hard to root for.
Yeah.
What's the update?
She has started on her villain journey.
She's feeling
the feelings.
Yeah, she's feeling like a villain. She is being pretty ornery. The thing you don't think about when you go talk about helping people that are going through something mentally or emotionally is you don't think about, like, a lot of times they're complete a-holes. Right?
I do think about that. That's why I don't help people.
That's fair. I mean, that is what makes it so hard. It's a dog in the corner just growling at you like crazy. And it takes a special person to go, no, I'm going to belly crawl up with a bag full of McDonald's and I'm going to get this dog to realize that a human touch doesn't always mean it's going to be something bad. Yeah. You know, and I'm going to help this person. And that's what she is right now, because she herself is like, my emotions are all over the place. My hormones are all over the place. My this, that, and the other. She knows something's happening.
She had bariatric surgery.
Yeah.
And then she had skin removal surgery.
Yes.
So
extensive.
Yeah. And so it really does mess with your hormones.
Just going down in size almost?
I don't know exactly what it is. If it's like the changes of all your organs, or I don't know.
The regular in me goes, well, you were this big. And then you brought that down, and those hormones were still for this big. Yeah. You know,
those emotions are also.
Yeah, those are still out here.
Yeah.
Even though now it's like you're a sourdough. And you got to move that to the next thing or it's going to bust. That's your emotions. That's your hormones. I don't know what it actually is, but that's what I'm thinking. It was already a big package. But yeah, she's getting
in fights with everybody.
Everybody.
Her girlfriend wants to help her so bad.
Yeah.
And she just can't get out of her own way.
No, and I can see that poor girlfriend of hers. I go, she is going to get broken badly, because she seems to be a deeply compassionate person who wants very badly for people to get along and have a good time. And I said, oh baby, this ain't the world for you. Even Amy, whenever she was like, I can tell this lady wasn't raised how we're raised. Yeah. Because she was being so nice.
Yeah. Amy's always been my favorite. I think she's really funny.
She is, but that's an easy favorite. I was trying to go dark horse.
Well, I know, but she's just so optimistic.
She is.
I like it. It's infectious, really.
That is one thing we've always said about that family in general. Is like they laugh their heads off. Like they really do. They do keep from the show, I think, drug use and alcohol that they do more of.
Oh, really?
Well, they often will say, like, and Tammy's been partying. And they go, that's not really the vibe of this particular show. Because we all know when it comes to reality TV, the producers create the reality.
Yeah. You gotta really be leery of reality producers. I think reality TV producers are.
Yeah. I'd be afraid to really know a reality TV producer in life. Like, I'd be like, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Because they got to do that to your friend group. Just tell them how you feel. This is your a lot of what producers do. This is like, and we watch that show Unreal. This is basically where I'm getting all this. Yeah. But it does feel like they wind you up. And then right about the second they're about to roll, they go, this is your chance to say your piece.
Yes.
To say your side.
Yes.
It really is like having a toxic friend that then is like great. And I also had an outcome I was hoping for. Because most people's toxic friends are just like, I'm just toxic.
They weren't like,
yeah. These people are like, no, I am doing it. So hopefully one day they'll buy a show I pitch.
Yeah. I'm thinking women. I'm thinking men. I'm thinking bikinis.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking dating.
Yeah.
I'm thinking fighting.
I saw this show called MILF Manor. I was thinking DILF Duplex. Yeah, it's dads go on there. Their daughters come on there. The dads date each other's daughters.
This is a show we actually pitched each other when we saw MILF Manor, just batting it back and forth of what would happen. Because if you can just imagine every single thing that they did on MILF Manor, but it was dads and daughters.
Well, first off, for the record,
the mother one's gross too.
I was going to say, everything they did on MILF Manor was gross and weird and wrong.
We heard you. Yeah. MILF Manor was too wrong.
Yeah.
Too gross. Yeah. Check out DILF Duplex.
Yes. And that is like a really fair representation of divorce. MILF Manor. DILF Duplex. Like he's like, I'm rebuilding. I am rebuilding. And I'm going to rebuild how most guys do in my age bracket by dating too young and who's around me? My daughter's friends. Okay.
It's all motel furniture, just that one desk and a chair and a bed. And
just that's sad, like, what do you want for dinner? Like there's options. It's like, we're having the bagels that you had in the fridge. Like we don't have any options, Dad. It's crazy that they're on season 2 of MILF Manor.
I know. We didn't watch season 2.
We watched season 1 and that felt like enough.
There's one game that they do where the moms are blindfolded and they have to touch all the guys.
The bodies of these young guys.
The young guys.
One of which is their son.
They're trying to find their son.
Right. I mean, it's, especially when the lady goes, well, I know he isn't circumcised, so the easiest way to do that's my boy. That's my boy. That's my baby boy.
Dads and daughters. Ooh.
Yeah, it just gets grosser. Even though technically this is one where I go, no, you're right. It's equally gross. It is equally
Same
gross.
gross.
It is super duper gross. I think in a way MILF Manor almost feels grosser because we're not as used to seeing it. We watched the documentary about America's Top Model.
America's Next Top Model.
That show was such a great idea. Right?
Yeah.
Because the way that show came to be was Tyra Banks had a good idea, man. I mean, she really did.
She wanted to kind of pull the curtain back behind the fashion industry. We watched it when it came out. We were probably around the same age as everyone that was on the show that was cast when it came out. I don't know what season we stopped watching. It was
probably when we got further away from being contemporaries with them. The older you get, the more you go like, my God, this girl is 18.
Yeah.
They're treating her like this. You know what I mean? Like they're pushing this kid so hard.
I saw those moments right away. I remember watching the Shandy scene where they go to Milan. They invite the guys who drove them around all day back to their place, and they drank a bunch of wine, and they got in the hot tub, right? And she was like, I mean, you can tell she is beyond, like she doesn't really know what's going on.
And you know what? And she never even said that it was like assault.
No.
She just said like she was so out of it that it really would have been great to have them not have that continue.
Yes. And I remember saying that back then to you when we watched it, like, why aren't they stepping in and like saying, hey guys, we're going to call it a night.
Yeah.
We feel like if you guys want to like meet up again sober, cool, but we're not going to, I wouldn't be able to stand by.
I wouldn't be able to stand by. I actually thought of that when we were watching that show. I said, man, I know 100% I would be fired from that show because I'm not going to sit here and just document what happens next. I think we're at the point where we get it. They've made out. We need to go ahead.
But that's their excuse to make them feel like not bad people. They go, we're just documenting it. I hear that excuse a lot when I see like things that you go, that's not ethically okay. We should step in. We're just documenting. We're just documenting.
But we do a lot of flipping the little thing to keep the pinball moving where we want it to go. A lot of shaking the whole mechanism to make those kind of things happen.
Right.
And I'm like, if you know you're doing that and you do, then you can stop a terrible thing.
Right.
Like you don't need to sell your whole soul for what? A storyline? You could put together another storyline.
Quite honestly, you know this is going to ruin this girl's life.
We watch a lot of reality TV and I am very torn on it. I think a lot of people who watch reality TV are very torn on it.
Yeah.
Because you go, and we kept watching that show. We didn't stop watching that show. The only thing that ever moves a needle if you don't like a show is to not watch it and hope that enough people don't.
Yes.
It was a phenomenon at the time. When she went and pitched that show around, right when she described it, I said, this is a great idea. I mean, like knowing what it is now, but I was like, when you hear her go like, nobody really understands. They know what a model is. They somewhat know what we do, but they don't know anything that goes into like getting to be one. Like they don't know what it's like to go around to all the different agencies or to go out and be looked at by like, someone who's looking to have models in a thing and what that actually feels like or walking, all the stuff. It just felt like, at first, although that was like season 2 that thing happened. Was that season 2 or was that way down the road?
I think it was season 2.
Because I was going to say it's almost like trust your process. Like that idea in season 1 was there. So I guess from jump they were kind of already doing pretty rough stuff to everybody, because it seemed like when you watch the documentary that their narrative was like, oh, and it just kind of kept going till it was finally off the rails, because obviously cycle after cycle, season over season, you got to top yourself. And I think people underestimate how much we as an audience for reality stuff. Like, I understand if you're doing a narrative, if you kind of stay in the same place, it'll get tired where you're like, it feels like we're just kind of recycling back to this moment so that we can keep being a show. I think they really, truly underestimated people's ability to keep showing up just to learn about these characters and watch them do the thing and see who wins. We can do that for so long. American Idol, it may still be a thing, but if it's not, it ran for 100 years.
America's Next Top Model ran for like 26. Yes. Was it 26 or 20 seasons?
It was 24 cycles
24
or whatever.
cycles.
But they were doing like 2 a year. So it's at least like 12 to 15-ish years that it actually ran. And my point isn't that it didn't get to survive. My point is, like, these other things that didn't do all that stuff, it did too. It's like, we will show up every year, year after year, to watch people just pick out a house, change its paint color, knock out it. We've seen this in my head. When I think it, I can see what it's like when these guys swing a sledgehammer to knock the top off of an old peninsula that they're going to put in an island. It's like we've seen that a billion times. And we go, cool, just throw that on in the background. I'll watch that right now.
I wish that the judging panel was positive critiques only. Telling you what you could change, but telling you what you did good. I think that it's enough to see how the industry is mean to everyone when they're on the set and those people are just mean to them.
Oh, it's easy to look back on it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, I know as a viewer, I'm not going to like paint it like, oh, the whole time I was just like totally understood. Like Janice, I was like, oh, Janice about to eat.
See, I feel like that's just bullying. That's not even like positive. Like, that's not critiquing somebody. That's not telling them like what they could do in better as a model. I think
she was there to provide color. That was the thing they had going for them. Positive, like they honestly had nothing but personality. Tyra Banks was the most boring person they had. Her and Nigel. The Jays were phenomenal for TV. And Janice Dickinson was phenomenal for TV. She may not be a person you'd want to be trapped in an elevator with, but she will make you stop at that screen because she had no filter whatsoever.
I actually really did like the photography. I liked watching that part. And I liked seeing the end photos. I do wish they would have always picked the best photo because I'm trying to see good photos.
Well, they said as things went along, they would start to, not necessarily pick the best one because they wanted a narrative at the judging, which is like, oh, look at this. Some of their stuff, too, they'd be critiques of stuff that I go, that's uncritiquable. There was one I just remember they had like water all over the girl or something, and she had turned her head and it looked like drool coming off her chin. And I go, that's not a critique. That's just a happenstance of shooting 50 frames a second. It's like, I'm sure the next one wasn't like that. But also, what's the note in that? It's literally called America's Next Top Model. That was her phrase, like, you are still in the running for America's Next Top Model. And the biggest thing was, and we kind of knew it in real time, is you go, I don't see any of these people modeling anything. It was very rare to ever see that. I mean, we very much like pop culture stuff. And I said, you never really saw them anywhere. Now, some of them did go on to do a little bit, but I mean, when you think about how many people came through that show, I mean, it's a handful that had like real careers from it. There was no back end to it. It's all show. It's no like what happens next really matters because they know they tell your story. Right? Nobody's going to know that.
That is one thing for RuPaul's Drag Race, right? When you go on there, you become a star.
Yes.
That's a star-making show. And I would say it's kind of similar. They do a lot of the same stuff.
Very similar.
But they got their Janice. Michelle.
I mean, she's calmed down over the years.
But she's there to like kind of say it to you straight. And it's still more positive critiques. And I think it works better. I like it better as a format. I don't feel bad.
No, I was going to say, Michelle, I will say she seems way more in the pocket and giving you a note to improve something. Even if the note is a little bit harsh, like even if the delivery of it is a bit harsh, I don't think she would do any of the stuff that Janice did, where it's like very personal attacks on you.
Michelle Visage's critiques are like, here's what you're doing incorrect. Janice Dickinson's are like, here's how I'm being mean to you.
The mean judge is a trope for those kind of shows since forever, right? Simon Cowell was horrendously mean to people. The only thing anybody knew Simon Cowell from, honestly, is that American Idol.
Yeah.
He was like a money guy producer, if that makes sense. Like the fact that he made a bunch of money from a Teletubbies album, I don't think really people weren't going, oh my God, I'm in front of a legend here or something.
Yeah.
You know, he became that from the show. So the mean judge, it had been a thing forever. You know, it's just, you know, in that world, when you're talking about aesthetic, I mean, that's directly aesthetic, right? You are a model. There's only so much we can talk about modeling before we're straight up commenting on your body, your looks, your
that's not that. Yes,
that's what they did.
But in the photos, I think what you could, because you already know what they look like. You already know that you cast them because they're a good looking person or they look like the person you want. Their body type or whatever. So it's just like, how do you move your body or position, you know, do a pose. I think that's where you could have gone with it a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh, there's a
lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
That's a tiny, minor thing you could do better.
Yeah, I think
all the other stuff.
When we're talking about a show that's like, hey, we're just telling you today, we're going to go ahead and have you go do like a 12-hour marathon session and have actual oral surgery. We're gonna do stuff to your teeth.
They pulled. One girl had a bunch of teeth pulled out.
Yeah.
Another, they closed her gap. They really forced her to close her gap a little bit in between her teeth. And then the next season they widened somebody's gap. They did and I remember this in when they did this, where they had them do different ethnicities. And I remember both of us were like, what
because again, this isn't a million years ago. This was like, we're like, what are we doing? Like, we haven't heard of what, like, but Tyra Banks loves stuff like that. Remember she had that show, her Tyra Banks talk show. And I think she got cooked for it where she went out in a fat suit and was like, I'm going to see what it's like to be heavy in the world. And they were like, no, we don't like that.
I don't remember.
No, we do not like somebody who made her money being a supermodel, putting on a Nutty Professor level fat suit to see if people don't treat her like a supermodel. Somebody was like, nah, you can kill that in the room. We already know. We already know, dude. This is like a bad Eddie Murphy when he went out as the white guy sketch. Like, what are we doing? That's already been. Eddie Murphy's done every iteration of what you're talking about, like as a joke, much better with social commentary. We don't need this. Don't do this. There was a lot of those things where all they needed was one person to go, this isn't what you think it is. I'll even give you benefit of the doubt that you think you're doing something, that you think there is like something to this. It was bad photos too on top of it. Besides all the obvious reasons not to do it, like the hurt that can be caused, the stupidity of the action, it was not good photography. I was like, this isn't landing. Like, what is happening? When they re-showed it, I go, no, that doesn't look like even the ethnicities you're saying these people are trying to be. It was so
convoluted. It was like, we're switching ethnicities. We have a prop of a baby.
Yeah.
We're in a baby.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Just the fact that the baby was the actual ethnicity.
Yeah, I know. Like, and I was like, why aren't we swapping them too? No,
right. That's like a Bruno sketch where it's like, and the baby will have no seatbelt. Are you good with that?
And then it was like in a cornfield. I was like, this doesn't scream milk to me. I don't know.
Milk must have just been like, yeah, whatever. Anything's fine. Anything's fine. You're switching. Okay. Yeah. Cornfield. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Not even dairy cows. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Get them out there. Because any other product, I truly think almost any other product, I go, so we're going to have people switching ethnicities. Go, oh, no, you can just pull Dell right out of there. Let me get the little Dell computer out of here. I just want to make sure that's not in the shot at all. No. You guys do whatever you want, but no, Dell won't be involved. No, thank you. No, they're switching ethnicity. It's weird. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. They got another one where they're just like, it was all different ways that the models had been killed. And the guy, Ken Mock, the producer of it, was like, that one I do think was bad. That one I do, because it was kind of like promoting violence against women. Yeah. I go, yeah, it was, bud. And again, another thing about the show, right? So they tell you this is what modeling is, like this is what the world is. And then a lot of the models were like, yeah, come to find out though, whenever I actually went around to try to get with an agency, they were like, these are way too stylized. These are not good for your lookbook.
Right.
Like these don't make sense for trying to garner work as a model.
Yeah, these are not good poses.
Right. And we have you're lying in a bunch of filth and trash. Yeah, we're not going to have a lot of that. We're really just trying to sell Carl's Jr. burgers.
What do you look like just regular? Because you're underwater here holding your breath, and I think you look different.
Yeah, and this one they seem like they have real dead fish attached to you. See, that doesn't do anything for me. I don't care at all about that. Also, I don't know if you know, but we know that you switch races. So just like any other job, that's bad. That's not good what you did there. And you go, what?
Yeah. And if you don't, I mean, you're off the show. You're being either forced to give up your dream or forced to do blackface. Yeah. It's not a good environment.
Well, it is a good environment for entertainment, though. It's not that it's all bad. I think this is almost for a lot of reality TV anyway. Maybe not MILF Manor, but a lot of it. It's like 80% of what you're doing is really good. Like it's a good concept. It's a good idea. You're giving people an opportunity. It's that 20% where you're like, can we get 2 million eyes on it that wouldn't care about it? It's really hard to get somebody to watch something that you're like, hey, I'm not trying to be inflammatory. I don't want to make you feel bad. I hope that for a small amount of time, we're just making you laugh. So that is a tougher road for views. We live that.
Obviously, I watch it.
Absolutely.
And I enjoy it a lot.
But we did stop watching it because it does get to a point where you're like, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think what it was is as we age, they stay the same age. And we're not Matthew McConaughey. When you're young, you're seeing it through their eyes. You go, I'd do it. Now, here's one thing I wouldn't have done. I know this. They would have been like, blackface. I would be like, no, I'm going to pass. I'm not doing that. That's crazy. Because I wouldn't do something that I know would make people feel bad. But I would probably put myself through a bunch of stuff that would make me feel bad for a dream. The easiest people to rip off is somebody with a dream. Yeah. I mean, it just flatly is. You want something bad enough, you have those moments where you go, I know this isn't right. I know this is stupid, or I know, and you do it anyway.
We watched all those bad. I mean, they're not that they're good now, but I think I have kind of transitioned from the one person meeting the harem to the like at least equal amounts of people meeting each other.
Preferably through a wall.
But we did watch all the ones 100%. Like from VH1, Rock of Love. Oh, yeah. And the thing is, it's not like we didn't know. We knew it was bad then. I knew that. I was like, this guy's way, way older than these girls.
This guy is constantly wearing a do-rag and is worried about wind at a rate that I don't think these 18 to 22-year-old girls understand. Why he's so, hold on. Jeez, please. You can't do a fan. That's what. If you're gonna do a fan, you got to tell me because I'll have my guy put in my underneath. Okay, he'll do the clips. Sorry about that. Have I talked enough about my type 1 diabetes?
I was going to say type 1 diabetes representation.
He said that.
That was probably for the first time I actually saw somebody with type 1 diabetes talk about it on TV. So
that's true. A bunch. A bunch. Bret Michaels is Bret Michaels. He goes, I was really handsome. I didn't know about the hair, the stuff you can do to keep your hair. Nobody told me. The harem ones are weird. I agree with you. It's why I think we never watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Both sides of it are weird to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously it's weird to kind of, again, produce 20 odd women to pursue this guy.
I just really, the whole time, if I was the person who's the chooser, the lucky number only one. Yeah. The whole time I'd go, I don't think this person really likes me. I mean, they're just wanting to be on the show.
Yeah. You ever had 20 people at once fighting, clamoring, letting go of any shortcomings you have and almost coming to fisticuffs so they can make out with you, watch you make out with them, basically get, they can feel the cold sore developing in real time. Anybody ever done that? No. Do you think it may have been the show? It was the show. Now get out there, you warm body. I could put Bobcat Goldthwait out there and it would work. Is that how you say his last name? I don't know.
If you hadn't said, I thought it was Goldthwait.
But I do love that. I just don't know if they're here for me. I'm like, they're not. That's a great point. They're not. Nobody's worth this. That would be my thought on the other side. I go, nobody is worth this.
I could never actually like this person because they really treated me in a way like I was trying to be good enough for them the whole time until I proposed. Yeah. Or they proposed. I don't know who proposed.
I don't even know what their game is, to be honest.
But till one of us proposed and then we're equals? Right. I don't know.
Nah, man. And you're absolutely right. You can't do 19 other things with 19 other people and then go like, hey, how lucky are you? Right. At the very last minute, I chose you. Literally, there were other people around like that I could have chose, but I chose you. Right? The rose ceremony. What was it on Rock of Love? Do you remember what was he like throwing a guitar pick at him or something?
On Rock of Love, he gave them a backstage pass or a VIP pass or some kind
Honestly, yeah, that does check out. Because like when you think about how gross it can be to get a backstage pass, you know what I mean? A lot of stories that I like go back, you watch, both you and I watched a lot of behind the music and stuff. When you're young and you're the age of the person looking up, sometimes you go like, oh, right. Or that could be a thing. That doesn't strike me as odd. And then you hear like an Aerosmith story where they're like. That
would have struck me weird back then. That's what I'm saying. I
don't know. At 15, I would have thought one way or the other, I would be like, you got to go on the front.
No. Oh, please, God, tell me that's not true.
I don't know.
So the story is that Steven Tyler got temporary rights of a girl. Her parents signed over
almost
the
like
rights.
He was like her guardian,
so she could go on tour with him.
Yeah, and he was 20s, 30.
Doesn't matter. Old enough to get signed over parental rights.
Now, see, that part they didn't mention. I guarantee in the behind the music, they didn't mention all that. They just
what would they have mentioned? Just that a girl went on tour with him?
Every one of those guys would have just been like, man, it was crazy. But one thing that they mentioned that always struck me, even in the moment, is just sending out one of their goon squatted headphone dips to be like, that I always thought, that's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. But then I always thought, why is there always somebody there to go? You know what I mean? Like, and
wouldn't be weird if it was also men and women, but I think it's a power dynamic, really.
I think it's the point and click of it.
It's a lot. I mean? Top to bottom, whole thing bad.
It really is, because I'm like, you're not even doing your own pointing. Your guy's just going, you're his type. And they go, who? And you go, one of them. I don't know. There's just so certain things that I go, I don't know. It's always kind of giving me a soul shudder where I just go, I think more of people than that, I guess.
So then you would have at the time, if you heard that story. But like,
what I'm saying is when they would describe just like somebody going on the road with them, that's how it would kind of get described. Like, we were just crazy and there'd be girls going on the road with us.
They didn't say that their parents signed over their parental rights so that girl could go on the road with them.
Yeah. And then Almost Famous comes out and they give you the perspective of that character, and it's like, and you see the poker game. I don't know if you remember the poker game. They're kind of like betting their groupies in poker.
Yeah.
Like they're not human people, and I'm like, and also the fact that we just call them groupies, right? We can call them something else.
Their name.
Yeah. I don't know all their name. I guess we just call them groupies for now. I don't know. Never going to learn them. This stuff's going to kick back around, because I would say that like reality shows now, we watch Traitors and things like that. And I go, Traitors is downright, very, very chill for the most part. It's like, they might say a thing or two about like distrust, or like, I think they'd say something kind of personal and like a confessional, but nothing crazy.
I do think there is something to the initial mistrust.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder on Traitors left pretty early on because it just felt like a environment of mistrust. I don't know if that's why he left. It felt like that's kind of what he said, but
like he didn't kind of want to have to. I think he maybe was like, I don't want to lie as much as I thought.
Maybe lie, but I also felt like it's like the feeling bad for accusing somebody of like, but you have really no basis. I have a very hard time watching competition reality shows because I do feel like I see almost every single one. The first quite a few episodes
it's horror movie rules.
It really is.
Yeah, there are so many times I can think of where it's like two people of color, one white person. The white person has been absolutely pieing their own face for 5 weeks in a row. This is the first misstep of either of these people. They go, okay, white person, go sit down. You guys, do something, pit it against each other real quick in a competition to see if you can stay.
Yeah, it's almost always a black woman that goes first.
Yep. A lot of times that little extra like, hey, you did most things pretty good. We'll see you next week, but you need to learn from this, is always reserved for some goofball who looks like me. Who's like, well, I ain't never left Iowa before. We were rooting for you. They give him the Tyra Banks speech. We were rooting for you.
It was pretty early on, too, that I felt like it was the producers of reality TV show behind the scenes, manipulating. Because if you remember, when this happened, I remember thinking they don't let these people take a break. Mm-mm. They don't let them and it was on Flavor of Love. And that girl pooped herself. And she was wearing a dress and it fell on the ground.
She did. And again, though, but think about that. Think about that bumper leading into commercial.
Yes.
Who the heck did the what now? It's everybody popping off about it. It's like, come on.
It's a really wild world.
It's not good.
Really think
of it this way. If somebody said, what do you do for a living? You go, I produce reality TV. In a way, you are saying, like, what do you do for a living? You go, I manipulate people at a very high level, very consistently. Mm-hmm. So much so that I believe I know I can find a narrative in the edit. Mm-hmm. If you weren't overly manipulating people, you could really stand to be like, "Ooh, we got to really get in here and work this edit to death because we really got to find this because now you got to really see people." Yeah. We said when we were watching it, you go, "My God, you could make one of these for every one of these shows that we ever watched, right? You could make one for the Rock of Love. You could make one for Flavor of Love. You could make one for The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. You could make one for that weirdo show that we watched where the guy was a pickup artist. You know what I mean? Like all of these shows, you could do a thing where you go like, gross. Is it the ones where if they're following you in your off time, they're really going to get you?
Yes.
Because American Idol really doesn't do too much of that. They're going to show you out in a parking lot being like, Kentucky, we ate barbecue sauce or whatever.
You're not going to the hotel with them after they're off. Yeah.
Right. So they don't need to show them pushing a narrative like, is Carrie Underwood going to kiss this male artist who's also, it's like, we don't need that. That's not expected. That's not what anybody's here for. So they're not doing that to them. They're producing them. And in fact, like, remember, like, and this guy has to be like, I don't care what he says. Here's what high character looks like. It looks like the butt of a joke about how when American Idol started, there were two hosts.
Yeah.
Ryan Seacrest and the other guy. The other guy literally got fired because he was like, I don't want to be this mean to the contestants.
Yeah.
And Ryan Seacrest said, I'll be mean to them for about a decade. I'll gain enough power to then I can decide how mean I really want to be. That I'm comfortable with that. I'm worth over $100 million.
Yeah.
That's tough, right? It's a tough thing to tell your kid, like, hey, be a high character person so that you could probably like not make as much money for sure. Yes.
Well, kind of like everything else, if we all do it together.
And if there's one thing, I know you're new here, but one thing that we do really good as people is we do it all together, right? We all even can realize that what our collective reality is together. Have fun out there. Like, play like a champion. Maybe Ryan Seacrest just goes, I'll give to charity. Fox primetime, as mean as they were being to those people, I know, I will be honest, I would have been right there neck and neck with Ryan Seacrest, like, I'm not getting fired.
Yeah. And it wasn't even that I think he thought they were being mean, but he would make them answer questions about the bad critique they just got. It just made you feel bad.
Yeah. And
that guy's an empath.
Too much.
Just like
too much.
Yeah.
Right. You got to hand it to him though. I go, look, I respect the heck out. Here's what I know about the world though. And this is the realest thing in the world. I absolutely have a high level of respect for that guy. I go, that's really sticking to your guns and having moral character at the highest level, because that's a lot. Like we talked about, that's dreams on the line. Yeah. That's money. That's the whole thing. I don't know your name.
Yeah. He did go on to produce all those Girls Gone Wild and then moved to Mexico, right?
No, he didn't.
That's that same guy?
No. Oh my God. I was like, what? That seems what? No. Yeah, that guy. That, I mean, hey, those were the times, right? Those were the times.
I didn't watch the documentary about that. I was like, I can't.
I do look forward to, and here's the thing: as much as I looked forward to watching all those shows, knowing how bad they could be at times, I equally look forward to watching all the documentaries telling me why I should probably feel a little bad that I watched them. Yeah, those are just the ones that were like mainstream. I'm sure there's some like one-off stuff that they're like, woof, cuckoo banana town. Can you think of anything that you're like, it didn't stick around long? Oh, kind of the teeth thing reminded me of it. The teeth thing from the America's Next Top Model when they showed the teeth episode.
Oh yeah,
right?
the Swan.
Yeah. That's what it's called, the Swan, right? Mm-hmm. They did that in multiple countries.
Did they?
Yeah.
They would find an ugly duckling.
Boom.
And then they would give them a ton of plastic surgery over the course of one day or something.
Yep.
And
they do like extreme weight loss. Mm-hmm. They do a bunch of surgeries. Mm-hmm. And it was like just a crash course, very small amount of time, and then boom.
How could that not go wrong?
It's like building sets. It's like you knew if they turned that poor lady around, she was just going to like dislocate and be like, oh my God, what have they done to her? That was Fox. Fox was on one, boy. They did Average Joe. Think about that.
Oh, right. Where they told everyone he was a millionaire and then they found out at the end he was poor.
Yep.
Now, what do you think? Because I think it's an okay reaction to go, but you're a liar then.
Yes. And that's what they
Because,
did.
like, I already am poor.
Right.
I don't want to still be poor.
Right.
I want to maybe fall in love. I got finally an opportunity to maybe fall in love with a millionaire. Yeah, I got to take it.
Yep.
I'm mad.
And here's why everybody was like, well, that's okay because they want to fall in love with a millionaire. And I go, so do you. Shut up. So do you. So do you.
Yeah.
I knew what that show was. It creeped me out. But I watched it because I remember they're off camera, but they're mic'd. And you just hear slurp, slurp, gulp is what the thing put. So they let you know what I mean? Like, and I go, and was it even that? Because they'll do that stuff to you too. Mm-hmm. Just run your name.
Oh, yeah.
You know, do we marry for love? Obviously, yes. But are we wise? No. Not if you're trying to get to the top of this heap.
How poor were they?
Here's one thing you can almost just ascertain from if you just think about how the world works. So how poor were they? They were poor enough where no one in their circle were millionaires. Because if you grew up where everybody in your community, you go, yeah, I think they're all pretty much millionaires. You just date those guys then. You wouldn't go on a show and say anything about yourself to meet a guy who maybe you might like. You go, I grew up in Connecticut. Like everybody's a millionaire. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll just date those guys, right? So poor enough, like regular, but there's a lot of levels to like most people don't grow up around true affluence. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? Most of us grew up in towns where like we know like almost like they're movie stars, the 4 people in our town who are actually worth money. Mm-hmm. People in my town, their family name gets talked about like you're talking about a celebrity. Mm-hmm. And when you go, oh, who is that? I remember when I first moved to Wildwood and I'd hear some of these names over and over again. I go, who is that? And the story would always be the same. Well, they own, down at the thingamajig and all of that, all the way from there to there. Everybody loved to tell you like what these 4, I go, do the math, dummy. These are the 4 families that ripped you off. Yeah. Well, they're all smart. I went to school with all their kids. Not smart, right? So I go, there's some shenanigans afoot. You're not head and shoulders better than us. I'm around you.
So you think then maybe they just went on the show to get back at somebody who was rich?
No, I think they went on the show because most people grow up in a town like that. Yeah. Like, to some level. I bet there weren't a lot of people on there that were like from New York City. That's one thing that I will say cities give you is like, just it feels like a lot of opportunities.
You know what was a big commercial in my house?
What?
New York City!
Facebook. That hit.
It did.
That hit. Why would they make sauce? Meanwhile, they go, we make terrific sauce in New York City.
Flavor Flav sponsors some teams on the Olympics. That's such a weird fact.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's done it for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I think he heard of a team that was not going to be able to go or something and started sponsoring them.
He's like their John Candy.
Yeah, he really is.
They were like, look, we're just trying
I know he sponsors a bobsled team.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Can you get more American than needing a you got into the Olympics, but you need a sponsor?
Yeah. My gosh.
Because again, who doesn't need a sponsor? Probably the stuff that we really want to watch.
Hockey, basketball. Yeah.
The multimillionaires that are all professional level players. That is a weird thing. Every rule is just eventually capitalism going to win. Remember, like the Olympics were for amateur athletes. And
were they?
Yes. They used to be you can't get paid. It's the highest level amateur athlete. Oh. So it would just be like college players that played on like Team USA basketball. So like the time that Michael Jordan was first on it, he was a college player. And then it became, oh, you know what? Like I think we almost lost or we lost one time or something like Because then the narrative does start like, is it truly the best in the world or is it the best? You know what I mean? It's easier marketing. It's the best in the world.
Oh, okay. So now it's changed.
Now it's changed. And for a long time, it was like, oh, here's how like Team USA can be the dream team. but everybody else still had to be very poor. You'd hear the stories of the athletes, and it's like, yeah, we need a sponsor to like be able to get here.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that that's still the case for some, that I'm like, oh yeah, there's levels to it. Everything is money.
Money, baby.
So when they do Average Joe 2, get in there. Only not Average Joe, because they were tricking you.
Jane.
But,
Average Jane.
But they're tricking you. Don't do that one. If it says that, they're tricking you.
Oh, I thought it was he just called Joe the Millionaire?
It was literally called Joe, not even Joe Millionaire. Aired in 2003. A man pretending to be a millionaire construction worker dated.
Hold on. He was a millionaire construction worker?
I think he must have been a construction worker who was pretending to be a millionaire. This is written badly. Dated 20 women. It's always 20 women. 20. Somebody did the math and they go, when will people kill each other? What's not enough? 20 gives you enough people, like, because it almost feels like they know a couple are going to sputter out and just be like, no, they're not for this life. They did a reboot in 2022. Just so you know, if we grew, they did a reboot of Joe Millionaire in 2022, called Joe Millionaire for Richer or Poorer. And 18 women date 2 men, one a millionaire and one not, without knowing which is which. I bet there's tip. I bet there's some hints.
One's always talking about a stock portfolio.
And another one goes, actually, it's whoever is talking about how millionaires and billionaires shouldn't be taxed. That's your poor person. The person who goes, well, I mean, technically, if you really wanted to help the country as far as like true GDP, because that's the thing, they'll extrapolate. They can't help it. They go, if you want to really help the country as far as true GDP, if you want to get us out of this massive debt, then yeah, of course, you need to tax your millionaires and your billionaires at a higher rate. And then you'll know that guy's a millionaire because he's like, that's a fun brain experience. It'll never happen. And the other guy goes, don't touch it. Don't touch it. They go, what? Don't touch his money. Don't touch his money. We're just going to tax billionaires.
Don't tax it.
Don't touch it.
Don't tax it either.
Don't touch it. You can't do that to them. If you were to tax a billionaire, then what? Then they're going to leave the planet and there ain't going to be no more job creations. That's what I'm talking about. My whole town is nothing but shells of empty buildings that used to be a factory owned by a billionaire.
But what if we could have a renaissance and all the people who are down here having to work those factory jobs could do something that they love, and then the town would be all great?
Yeah. And I want to be very clear. There is no factory jobs. That's why the town is suffering so hard.
Shoot.
Yeah. So now the factory is going to be a paintball field. Something like that. Lie down in front of the IRS tanks. I'll die for this. Please. You cannot take what's his. He earned that money when he was born. I just so desperately care about capital gains tax. Okay. You got to stop running out here and screaming that. But how much money again did you make? $23,000. I care about capital gains tax. What is it?
Inheritance tax.
Inheritance tax.
A lot of moving.
I was trying to really act it out in the chair because I knew they'd be in a rascal. So I knew that part. Hold on. I'm coming. Those are my favorite people. I have such distinct memories of people when I was a kid at the store just going like, the electronic buggy's busted. Yeah. It's not moving.
They would also tell you as a customer walking in, like, we would be like, why are you saying this?
Back up buggy. The buggy's down. The buggy's down. I'm like, okay.
Thank you for
I'm 20 years
notice.
old. I'm 20 years old.
That's also a Southern way to say it because I don't think other people say, I say cart because I feel like that's not.
Because you're always trying to be better. Yeah. You're always thinking you're better.
Yeah.
I say cart. Excuse me, where's my cart?
I think some people call
and
it
I go,
trolley.
Oh, where's the buggy? Yeah, trolley, I think, is that a Northeast thing?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, buggy. Where's the buggies? No, the electric one. Heather, do you have any other thoughts, feelings, or jokes when it comes to specifically like reality television is what we mostly were chatting about, but anything?
Yeah. I love it, but I hate it.
Yeah. Please, somebody document the producers.
Yeah.
Because Unreal, I think,
yes.
is, if you haven't seen the show Unreal, but you love reality television. Unreal
Such a good
is
show.
as close as we're ever going to get to documenting it, because the person did work on like The Bachelor. Mm-hmm. And of course it goes, it has to entertain, and it's fiction, so it can go as far as it wants. But I do feel like that first year or so when it's setting the world up is probably as good of a representation as we'll ever honestly get about what it looks like when people produce other people.
Yeah.
In that way. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
It would not be a job for me.
No. I love you.
I love you.
We didn't hit record. We didn't hit record.